Hey everyone, Andrew Stormer here, and welcome back to another computer tutorial, and today we're talking about cases. The case brings all your pieces together in one housing and everything looks nice in it. On PC Part Picker, there's a ton of different options for cases. There's color. Type is one of the things that you need to look at. I usually do an ATX or micro ATX. This needs to match with your motherboard so your motherboard can fit in the right screw holes and everything fits and works great. And so usually I go with a full tower or a mid tower, or with a micro ATX, a mid tower there. Those are my recommendations, but there's other things that you can do, like even a test bench or anything. Those are pretty crazy for people who are just testing parts and stuff. It's not really for a mainstream gaming or YouTube editing rig or anything. Power supply, apparently some cases come with power supplies. I wouldn't do it at all. Stay away from that. Check out the power supply video that I did link up there. You have an option for a side panel window if you want to see inside your case and look at your masterpiece. And if you're doing a LED build with RGB and lights everywhere, definitely get a side panel window, and that would be something like this where you can see inside of it right here. Front panel USB 3.0s. This goes back to the motherboard video right there. If your motherboard has USB 3 headers, and if your case has USB 3 with this option right here, then you can get USB 3s on the front of your case. So if you have USB 3 headers on your motherboard, why not get it here? And USB 3 is so much nicer because everything just transfers so much faster. And then motherboard form factors. This also goes back to the motherboard thing, that your motherboard's form factor has to match this one. And I don't know why they split motherboard form factors with the type of case. I think maybe because some of these types can actually take different form factor motherboards, so it just gives you a little bit more of an option. External 5.25 inch bays. These are your bays for like fan controllers, optical drives, your disk drives, all that kind of stuff. So if you are planning to put an optical drive or fan controller in your computer that you can access from the outside, you definitely need one or two of these. But I know a bunch of people these days and a bunch of brands are actually trying to get rid of them completely. And for me personally, I don't think I will ever have a computer without a disk drive in it, so I always have to have the 5.25 inch bays. But for you, if you don't have any disks, or if you're not going to do fan controllers or anything, you don't need it, and that just gives you more options for cases. External 3.5 inch bays. This is also an external thing. I don't know what times that you would use this, maybe for like an external hard drive in a very rare circumstance. I don't know. I wouldn't worry about it. Internal 3.5 bays, though, I would worry about. Those are your common hard drive sizes. Most hard drive sizes are 3.5 inches. But why you have the 2.5 inch internals is for your smaller internal drives, because there are 2.5 inch hard drives also. And sometimes those are more for like SSDs, when 3.5 inches are usually for your HDDs, and if you didn't watch that video, link up there too. Your expansion slots, I don't care about, so we're just gonna move on. There's all kinds of different designs of cases, colors, shapes, sizes, all that kind of stuff. You go look for it yourself, but we're gonna hit on a couple unique cases that do things completely different, because I know a bunch of people don't know about. This example here, this is kind of your usual case where you just put in your motherboard, your drives, your whatever. This one actually has a place for your power supply down here, and it has a cover over it so you don't have to see all those messy cables down there. And then I think you put your hard drives down there. A bunch of cases these days are having so both of the side panels can actually pop off, and a bunch of them are giving you like this, like a half inch a little sliver area that you can actually run cables behind your motherboard and bring them out around the sides, so for cable management and keeping everything nice and clean and keeping your cables out of the way of your airflow and all that fun stuff. Also, some cases are having their dust covers being able to be taken off with like magnets or just a little switch or just sliding it out or something, so you can clean it super easily, and that's really nice too. This case here I like to point out because this is a top to bottom, side to side, fully glass panel, and it just looks super nice and clean and sharp. This case here, it looks like it's nothing special, but this case in particular actually has soundproofing on the inside of it. So if you really care about soundproofing your inside of your case and your computer being too loud, there are very few cases that do that, so you could soundproof your computer. There's cases without fans on the front, and there's cases with fans on the front. There's also some cases with fans even on the side panels, which I don't know why you do that, but usually you have like the top and the back, but some of them have the front, some of them don't. And this one here has them actually on all three sides. This one has the front, the top, and almost the back. Like this case here has like almost like a 270-degree angle of open airflow, which is pretty cool. Now, the difference between this case and other cases is this is a cube case. Now, there's all kinds of different cube cases where you can have a cube-looking thing and the motherboard actually sits flat in it. That's not the case with this case. This case actually is split right down the middle. So at that middle point, you have your motherboard in there, and then you have your CPU, your graphics cards, and your coolers and all that stuff. But then on the other half of it, you have your external bays, as you can see right here, and you put in your power supply and your hard drives. So those are in its own separate compartment. So airflow goes through all the pieces that really need air to it, and it keeps all those cables and your hard drives out of the way of all that airflow. So it's just like maximum airflow through everything. Now, you do have to worry about your power supply overheating, but if you see right here, your power supply would go, I think, right here, and that would leave some space open for your power supply to get air in and out to cool it. There's also some other cases, like the Omen X case, where it's a cube case, but it's turned on its side, and it works similar to the last case where there's these, if you count like these 4 panels, these 2 panels here, that has your motherboard, your graphics card, your CPU, your coolers, all that stuff. And this one right here has all your hard drives in it, and then this one here has your power supply. So that one's split up into 3 sections instead of 2. There's also cases like the Alienware case. I think this one's the Area 51. This is a triad case where air comes in this side and goes through all the important pieces and then goes out that way. So it's almost a direct line because it comes in one side and goes out the other. And then all the other stuff that doesn't need it's kept to the bottom and to the sides, out of the way of all the fans. And then there's even just insane, crazy, random cases like this one where it's like multi-level. So there's like this side and then this side, and it's completely exposed, where I wouldn't usually recommend this case. This case is just for looks, but you can see here that you can have like your motherboard on this side and your power supply, but then have like your coolers and stuff on the other, and it just looks crazy. Like, look at that. That's just some crazy monster there. I wouldn't recommend this one because it's exposed and you could easily shock it and stuff can get in there, but it is kind of cool. So there's all kinds of crazy stuff that you can do with cases, and you can shove LED strips all around your case and make it super RGB and cool looking and whatever else. So there's plenty of options out there for you. If you want to do a sleeper build or just some boring looking normal thing, you can do that, or you can go some crazy alien futuristic looking thing, or you can do some sleek glass modern thing. All kinds of options you can do, all kinds of lights, and at the end of the day, that's what you're going to be looking at every day when you use your computer. So get a case that you like looking at. And why not show off your build? Why not show off to your friends your cool lights and that you built this yourself, and by having a glass panel on the side? That's going to do it for this one. So thank you all so much for watching, and I'll see you next time.